Hi everybody, welcome back to 30 Days Until Done. You've just finished, yesterday you just finished your fourth short story. For some of you it's your fourth short story ever. For some of you it's your 500th short story, and either way it's fine. It's just a different way of approaching. I want to talk about a different way of approaching revision today. And we've been talking about this all four weeks. I want you to do whatever you normally do for revision, right? And then maybe some of the other stuff we've talked about. We talked about research last time, didn't we? Yeah, that's another way of adding a layer onto your revision, really rethinking revision as well. I'd like you to take for this one also just one paragraph and figure out one paragraph of description and figure out what your dominant impression is. The dominant impression is the emotion the reader is supposed to have when reading whatever it is that you are writing, right? And so if you think of at the end of Mice and Men, people cry, right? And those tears are actually Steinbeck's argument. He doesn't make it. Steinbeck could be kind of awful sometimes with being preachy, but his strongest arguments and his best arguments as a fiction writer was when he made you cry, right? Because you're saying, oh my God, what are we doing with our disabled people in this country? How do we treat them? Okay, and that's the dominant impression, that emotion. Now the way you get to that is a number of things, but mostly through concrete detail. And then there's the second way that the poets understand that fiction writers sometimes don't understand, and that's that language is a physical thing, and it creates a physical reaction. I want you to think about this. Think about all of our words of contempt. When we want to kill somebody, when we want to do wholesale slaughter and massacre groups of people, we have to come up with terms of contempt. These are not terms of hatred. Hate speech is the wrong term. Contempt speech, right? Because it's hard to kill somebody that you hate. It's easy to kill somebody you have contempt for, because that's the person, not a person, a human being. Think of racist. I don't want you to say these out loud, but think of racist terms, think of sexist terms, think of homophobic terms, especially those terms think of that one term for a woman that we never use because it's just so bad. What's bad about that isn't the meaning of the word, it's the sound of the word, right? I want you to think of all of those terms. They all exist at the top of the back of the throat, right? And this is the place where contempt is. And the reason we create these is that every time you say it, you feel more and more contempt, right? So that large institutions, governments will spread this kind of language. It's okay, we're going to refer to this. Maybe they don't say it that way. But we're going to refer to this group of people in this way, and everybody starts to do that, and suddenly you're chanting this, and suddenly we're feeling disgust. It's the sound of the thing more than anything else, right? Now that's true of everything. Think of the word lust. Lust exists right up here because it's fairly shallow emotion. Love, say the word love. It travels all the way down to the bottom of your throat, missing the top of the back of your throat, all the way down to here and then back out, right? It engages all of the pleasure centers of your mouth and your throat. It exists on the place of lust, but it also exists in this deep place, right? Okay, so I want you to think about go to one of your paragraphs, think about what it is that your dominant impression is, and then I want you to start saying those words out loud. So if what you want if your readers to feel is contempt, start saying words of contempt out loud, and try to replicate that on the paper. If what you want, you're probably not going to want people to feel contempt, right? If what you want your readers to feel is happiness, right? Start saying those words of happiness. Joy. Joy sounds different than other words, right? Joy has a different feeling in our mouth and our throat than hate or hatred. And so start saying those things. Figure out what it is that sound is that's coming. Let it come through, and then you're going to start using that in your writing. Okay. When you're done, just take that one paragraph and put it down below, and we'll see if we can talk about how to improve it and how to work. Oh, by the way, okay, so you say joy, but you never use the word joy, right? Because joy is a word that's particularly meant to be spoken. It's not meant to be written, right? Because it has to do with the way our bodies interact and the way our shared understanding of this. Maybe my affectation when I say it. I say, well, what great joy I feel, right? That doesn't translate well to a page. So instead of that, you write you get that joy sound, and you put it into concrete language, right? And you put it on the page. Okay. So when you've done one of those paragraphs, post down below, and talk to you on 30 Days Until Then.